Back with another Discourse support video. We have a user out on Discourse who is looking to add a ZD Green network to their Docker Compose test environment, and they're interested in having that look like something like this. Let's go ahead and switch down to the view. So they're looking to add this ZD Green network to their Docker Compose, and they want to use this complicated environment. And so that's what this is going to do. It's going to create a ZD private green router, run it in tproxy mode, run it as a tunneler. And the reason we'll do that is so that this infinite curl container will be able to use this ZD private green router as the network for the infinite curl, giving it intercept capabilities. So we'll be able to do an HTTP to web.test.blue.zd or web-test.blue.zd, something like that. It'll traverse the overlay through the edge router to the ZD fabric router and into the ZD private blue router, where it will offload from the overlay network back to the underlay, back to the HTTP server, and we'll see an ASCII art of the OpenZiti logo. All of these instructions are available on a Discourse, on a gist on GitHub. And so I'll make all these links available on the Discourse and on the video. You can go ahead and copy them and paste them. And so I'm going to start the process off by copying from the gist. And the gist doesn't have a nice copy and paste feature, so I'm just going to be copying and pasting the commands from a notepad that I have. You do need two terminal windows. This top terminal window will run the Docker Compose environment. Again, it's going to curl down a couple of gists, the Docker Compose, an env file, a script that will configure ZD, etc. So let's go ahead and curl those down. And once they're curled, we do want to make sure the ZD password that is in the env file is admin. If the sed doesn't work for you, go ahead and make sure that this does say ZD admin or admin, because the scripts will log in as this user. And so let's go ahead and start. You do also need to create an external Docker network called ZD Green. So we'll create that Docker network. And now we'll start this compose file cooking. It takes a second for the whole thing to come online, as you would expect. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and let's curl down the differences and look at the differences between the original Docker Compose file and the one that I've updated, because I did add the ZD Green network and the ZD Edge controller alias to the controller inside of this Docker Compose file. This is important. Otherwise, the Green network will not be able to contact the controller by this name. So it's important. And now this is all settled out, we'll be able to go ahead and run the configure ZD script. If you're interested, go ahead and look at that script and see what it does. You'll see it just sets up some stuff. It deletes and recreates the router. It deletes and recreates all the services. And then it will put your enrollment token into a separate file called .env inside of the ZD Green folder, and then cat the contents into there. And if you looked at the compose file that's in this, nope, not complex, ZD Green, you'll see that the env is used for that particular environment variable. So now we can go ahead and bring up the environment. Oh, actually, did I configure it? I don't know if I ran it. Let's run it. There it goes. And now I can bring up the environment. And what should happen, I'm going to make this smaller. And what should happen is you should start seeing the OpenZiti. There it is. Logo will come up, and this will just keep infinitely curling. And so if you take a look inside of the this infinite curl, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual Docker Compose file itself. That is at temp Docker Compose demo ZD Green compose.yaml. If we take a look at this, we'll see it does an infinite curl to http://web-test-blue.zd on port 8000. And so there you go. We have the whole entire thing. We've demonstrated bringing up the complex Docker Compose environment, which is the stuff on the right here, the purple network, the blue, the red. We've added on the green network, We have configured it to use tproxy as a tunneler and intercepted a bunch of curl statements to make it over to this web test blue. Hopefully that helps. This also completes the ZDTV, which failed because Windows Subsystem for Linux doesn't apparently have the xt_proxy kernel module loaded, which was a bummer. All right, everybody. See you next time.